Very warm welcome to my lovely viewers. This is another Tuesday that we are handling Tuesday class job market. Today is episode 8 and we are going to talk about shortlisting. We are done with the interview, we are done with the applications, we are done with the recruitment process. Now we want to talk about the shortlisting. This is the most part that most of us really waited to hear, and we wanted to know what's all about this shortlisting. After the interview, of course, you are unease and you have a lot of questions running through your mind. Did I make it? Am I going to be called for the second interview, or am I going to pass to the next level after the interview? Now, after the first interview, remember we said this is the predetermination of the qualities and the abilities of a given applicant to make sure that he or she is absorbed. Before you are being absorbed, these stages that you are undergoing, all of them include the interview processes. And you might get that even after the first interview and shortlisting is done, still that's not a confirmation that you have been picked. You see? It means that still there's a stage that has to be passed. Shortlisting, we are going to see several things that are involved in shortlisting. One, we are going to see what is shortlisting, its simplest definition. Apart from that, we are going to see what are the criteria that are followed as we do what is called shortlisting. We don't just shortlist each and every person. It means we have some of the things or some of the criteria that we follow, the qualities and the abilities. We are going to see this by the end of this presentation. Then number 3, we will be able to see why do we do shortlisting. We don't just do it for fun. We don't just do it because it's part of the program. But there must be reasons as to why shortlisting is very important. Then number 4, we are going to see the essentials and desirable criteria. Apart from the criteria that we follow, they are also classified into 2 main groups. That is essential and then desirable criteria or qualities, as we will see. So we'll see the differences between the two, which ones are important and which one are just needed. Then last part of it, we'll be able to know what determines the length or the number of people or applicants that are supposed to be shortlisted in a given shortlisting process. So stay with me. By the end of the day, those are 5 main questions that we shall have answered at the end of this tutorial. As normal, I'm your tutor Mark Andedo. If you are watching me or listening to me for the first time, please press that subscription and don't forget to touch that bell button and personalize it. There are very many advantages of personalizing that. It gives you every prior notification to my upload of video in the YouTube channel, so that any other thing, whenever it happens, you get updated. So please subscribe, and it's all a part of support. It's a part of knowing that I'm reaching a given number of people, and that's what we want. If the video is so interesting, so knowledgeable and educative, please don't be so selfish. Make sure you share it with as many people as possible, because remember, we want knowledge to reach as many as possible. We might be qualified, even overqualified, but if we lack knowledge, we are null and void. So these things are based just to share the basic knowledge that are required as we venture into the job markets. Facebook page, you can get me. Facebook page, I'm calling my page Common Sense Isn't Common. If you search for that, you will get it. Facebook account, just Andedo Mark, you will get me there. Please follow me and comment, post questions there. And even if you have a critical sin, please, you are welcome. Just make sure that we sail in the same boat and learn and share knowledge as much as possible. Very quickly, let's go back to the basic of this presentation. What is shortlisting? Remember, at first we talked about the recruitment process. when the company has a vacancy or you have a vacancy at your work, the first thing you are going to do is a recruitment. Recruitment is not interview. Recruitment is like announcing, like marketing that you have a vacancy, like telling people that you have a need that has to be satisfied. But for this to be satisfied, I am inviting the applicants so that I'll choose which one has the better qualities that I need for this problem to be solved. So recruitment is like calling people. After calling the people, you are going to interview them, which is a way of selecting people. So remember, we have recruitment and selections. We handled them in the first main episodes, remember? Then after selection and recruitment, we go to the interview process. Remember, we have those pre-interviews that can be done even when you meet somebody face to face. Then we have this sitting interview also that is done. So getting job is a series, it's a consequential of events that followed one after the other. So by the time you end up employing somebody, you must have had the top cream we are looking for. So after the interview, you will be told that you will get a call after 3 days, you will get a call after 1 month, you will get a call after 1 month or whatever. In short, what are they trying to tell you? We are looking for the shortlisting. After shortlisting, we'll contact you, whether to do another interview again or to come for practicals where we'll eliminate until you get what you want. So when you talk about shortlisting, it's the process of identifying the candidate from your application or applicant's pool. Pool is the get together, that groupings. To choose people from it, that's what is called shortlisting. And in most cases, in advertisement, you are going to get the hire or the company telling you only shortlisted candidates will be contacted. If you're not contacted or if you don't hear from us within 2 to 3 weeks, please, we are sorry, or you are afraid you never made it to the next stage. So meaning that once you get a notification of shortlisting, you're among the shortlisted, first of all, you are a winner because at least you have crossed the first stage, which is also a selection stage. So is the proper selection or pick up of applicants from the pool who best meet the required or the requirement criteria for the open or for the vacancy the company is looking for. Now, what are the determinants of the criteria? Remember, number 2, we want to talk about the reasons for shortlisting. Why do we do shortlisting? First of all, from the definition itself, we have seen that shortlisting, when we do it, it lowers the number. Remember, the company might be having a vacancy of 1 or 2 people. Out of these 2 people, the first pool might be having over 1,000 applicants. These over 1,000 applicants, through the pre-interview, some might be directly like isolated or just ignored according to how they format their CVs, according to how their grammars are, whatever and all that. So before even shortlisting or interview, some might be automatically sorted out, and the few who are remaining, maybe 50, they proceed to the physical interview or sitting interview. From this sitting interview, we are going to do shortlisting, which after 2 weeks we shall have considered few number, maybe out of 50, now we have almost 20. Meaning that these 20 still will have to go a given procedure where some will be eliminated until we have maybe 5. Out of these 5, you can still go and do maybe a job offer. And out of this job offer, maybe 5 of them, 3 might turn down because of payment or because of distance or because of commuting or because of the transfer. Maybe the job was in Nairobi and you are another city. Moving to that place maybe is difficult to you. You might turn down the offer. So out of the 2 who are out of the 5 turning the offer, maybe only 2 remaining. Out of these 2 remaining, maybe you might base yourself in terms of gender or in terms of flexibility until you come up with one. So that's how shortlisting is done. So reason why we do that, first of all, is to make work easier, and also another reason we do shortlisting to make sure that the real procedures are followed, to avoid conflict of interest, to avoid biasness, to avoid racism, to avoid gender-based isolations or health issues and all that. We want everything. Most cases, by the end of the day, we might not or we should not be falling in the hands of legal team, so that we will be questioned out of that. So every company will be trying to do as much as possible to make sure that legal team is avoided. That's why we do shortlisting. Number 3, what are the shortlisting criteria? How do we do shortlisting? Maybe you have been asking yourself, how do we do shortlisting? First of all, shortlisting comes from the quality. Just like I told you in the episode we are talking about the interview. You might have the best interview. From your university or from your college, you have the credits. You have the 90%, you have the A level, and you are a first class student or graduate. But remember, there are some criteria that if they put down during the interview, for example, communication, language communication, maybe you are good in writings but communication is poor, they might decide to use such criteria. Maybe types of clothing, how you wore, you are coming in interview, what type of clothes are you putting on, walking style, how you speak, the questions you question, appearance really matters a lot. They might decide to use those criteria. So in my criterion, I have two main basic. We have the essential ones, and then we have some that we just call the desirable. The essential criteria, these are a must criteria. So the company or the hirer might decide to have the must qualities that if you don't, they won't even move to the next. For example, there is an application I made with the UN. It's called Change the World Initiative. Now, Change the World Initiative, these are people who I connected with online. Then we communicated. I sent them my CV and all that. Now, I qualified until they booked for the interview. During the day of interview, it was supposed to be done through the Zoom. Now, I didn't know how to use the Zoom, but I had to do prior trial and questioning people until that, because the only thing they gave me the Zoom ID. Not even the Zoom ID really, was the Skype ID. I had not used it before, but I had to do it. In fact, there the rule was, make sure you log in at least 5 or 10 minutes before so that you get used to what is going on, environment, the quality of the picture, your confidence and everything in prior. I really panicked the whole day until the time for interview. I'm telling you, the first question was, how old are you? When I told him my age, imagine, there was no greeting. It was like, Mr. Mark, welcome to this interview. First of all, how old are you? Then I was like, I am 30 years. We are sorry, this is meant for the students between 16 to 20 years. So with that one, I think you are dismissed from this interview. Thank you for your attempt. See you next time. The light went off. Just like that. I'm telling you, I never got a chance to ask any other question. So I was like, wow. Then, if my age is in the document that I sent, how comes again he had to ask me that? So I think prior they had known that this one is just disqualified. It was for the students, international students, and I think changing the world. So they pick between the high schools and the primary school, later primary schools and the high schools and the colleges between 16 years to 20 years. So I don't know, first of all, why they qualified me for the interview, because I got the email, you are qualified, until they scheduled the time. In fact, the first interview I missed, then they scheduled again after 5 hours, which I went. Then the first question was that, Mr. Mark, welcome to this interview. How old are you? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, we are sorry, blah, 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 and all that. That was that. So that age limit was an essential criteria of shortlisting. So meaning that I could not qualify to the next level of interview. So those qualities, those factors that are looking that are like a must are what we call the essentials. Some of them could be maybe age. Some of them could be nationality. We have some work areas that only need the locals of that country. Language barrier, maybe the question NGO might be looking for the French speakers, and you don't know French, automatically that's an essential requirement, you won't go there. Education, this must be for people with master's degree. You only have Form 4 certificate, you won't succeed. Then they might be talking of something like, what do you say? The married, this work is for the married, you are not married. Of course, essential requirement, you will go out of that. Shortlisting criteria should not be based on things like personal opinion and all that. Interest of conflict should not be there in shortlisting, and that's why we follow all this procedure. It should not be out of personal opinion, and maybe what manager requires, all things should be required. Like for example, I have a soft spot for people who are disciplined and people who are clean just through appearance. I think from that level, I shall have ranked you to a higher level. That is not required in shortlisting because that is my own personal opinion. You might appear shaggy, yes, but internally you have the basic, the real things that we want. So we do criteria, shortlisting criteria, to make sure that we don't just take people the way we like. So shortlisting criteria can include education, work experience, skills and knowledge, personal traits and competence. And these personal traits is the major core here. Please make sure that the major core you have, which is the personal traits, which is crowned as the attitude, make sure that your attitude at work is very good. So that was essential. What about personalities? Personalities now will be things like education level, the attitude, the height, physical appearance, maybe they look at such kind of things, the customer service nature, how you have that ability to better smile, like maybe the aviation industry, the flight attendants will be smiling all the time, you know, customer service, you are, how do you call it, hospitable, yeah? You have such kind of qualities. Those are called the personalities or the desired criteria. Now, so I've told you the essential criteria are the ones that a candidate must meet. Then desirable criteria, on the other hand, are the ones that make you stronger, anything that supports you. Meaning that so long as you have essential criteria, it is so possible to make it to the next level. Because now when we talk about the personality criteria, or we talk about the personality criteria or the desirable criteria, these are just qualities in you that make you a stronger candidate. And this might be professional certification, like I've told you, the level of education. Attitude really matters a lot, and remember, attitude is all-rounded. How you see things, how you're a team player or not, your time of flexibility, convenience, are you a person who is easy to anger or slow to anger, are you forgiving? Such kind of qualities are what we call the desirable criteria. So those are some of the ways by which we make our shortlisting. Then last part of it was, what determines the length of your shortlisting? It is simple. This one depends with each and every hirer. There is no common point that this is the determinant factor of the number of people that are supposed to be shortlisted. No, it depends, because you get that some jobs, they attract very minimum number of applicants. Some jobs, like for example customer service vacancies, they attract a bigger pool of the applicants. You might get that I only need 100 customer service officers, and out of 100 I have 10,000 applicants. What will I do to make sure that by the end of the day I have 100 servants? It means that my shortlisting is going to be within a given number. But in most cases, what I see, we take 12% of the applicants. Most companies, they work with the 12%. Because if it is 100, out of this 100, if you take the 12% of that, maybe probably you are going to have a shortlisting of 12 people, or maybe 13 or 15 people. 12% of 100, you may end up having 12 people. Out of these 12 people, you might take them again another series of interview, whereby out of 12, you can do another shortlisting again. Because remember, in essential criteria, this is a knockout interview. You see, it's a knockout interview. But when you talk of the desirable criteria, these are just simple facts that adds you value. We call them added advantages. You know, after qualifying from the essential, the next one are called the added advantages. Now, when all of you qualified again, we can look for another essential criteria where we are going to knock out 6 people. We remain with 6. Out of these 6, again, we can come up with another knockout criteria to remain with maybe 3. Out of these 3 now, because I want only one, what will we do? I give them offer. And out of this offer, maybe I can try to flex my salary offer. And out of this salary offer, of course, one is going to accept, one is going to answer questions, to ask questions, one is going to say like, I will call you later. So out of that, as a person, I will decide who calls first. That's the person I'll pick. So I'll go until I get the last person, and by the end of the day, this person will be absorbed. After absorption now, we will see what offer letter is. That one marks the end of my presentation for today. So remember, what is shortlisting, reasons for shortlisting, what are the shortlisting criteria, what are the essential versus desirable criteria, and then lastly we have answered the question of what determines the length of your shortlist. See you next time. If you have a question, please hit my inbox. My WhatsApp number +254 71122 3525. That's my personal number, and you can always question all the time. Remember to subscribe. If you have subscribed, please share, like, and comment. Whenever I get a notification that I have a new subscriber, that's the best message I see, or the best notification. Keep on supporting me, keep on supporting yourself, keep on supporting your friend there. This knowledge, share, share, share. May God bless you. See you in the next part.